This is Valley News Live at 4.
Good afternoon, everyone. Here's a look at today's top 4 at 4. Firefighters say the grass fire that scorched more than 2,200 acres near Medora is finally 100% contained, but there's an even bigger fire raging in the north unit of Theodore Roosevelt Park. The horse pasture fire has grown since Saturday, burning more than 3,000 acres in the park. It's only about 30% contained. Officials don't know what caused that fire, but they think it was likely caused by humans. Firefighters are having a hard time battling the flames due to the rough, inaccessible terrain. The North Dakota Forest Service says the fire hasn't caused any structural damage, but the housing, campgrounds, and other infrastructure in that area of the park is still at risk. A Moorhead man will spend 2 years in federal prison for his role in a violent protest in Fargo last May. Jordan Montagnezeg of Moorhead was sentenced to 2 years in jail plus 3 years of supervised probation for the civil disorder charge. Authorities say he slammed his fist on a Fargo police squad car, causing extensive damage and provoking other protesters to become violent and destructive. That violent protest injured several officers and caused thousands of dollars in damage to downtown businesses. 1 year has passed since 19-year-old Destiny Avery was killed in Moorhead. Destiny had been missing since April 3rd of 2020 and was later found dismembered at a local landfill. 4 people are charged in Destiny's death. David Erno has pleaded guilty in the case and will be sentenced in 2 weeks. Andrea Payne also recently pleaded guilty and will be sentenced in May. Brandon Erbstasser was given a plea deal. Ethan Broad pleaded guilty in January to murdering and dismembering Destiny, but at his sentencing in February, he withdrew his plea. Officials in Polk County say a woman who drove her car into the Red Lake River last Friday suffered a medical episode while driving. Crookston police received the report after the woman walked into the library wet, saying she drove into the river. Over the weekend, the Polk County Sheriff's Office found her vehicle using a drone. The Grand Forks County Water and Rescue Dive Team helped recover that vehicle. That wraps up today's top 4 at 4. Now here's a first look at our weather with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Hutch.
Stacey, thanks so much. I hope everyone has had a chance to get out and enjoy this very spring-like weather through the Easter. Showing up on satellite and radar as some clouds making their way overhead and a few green blips, most of which are not reaching the ground at this hour. Look at the warmth in the southern half of our viewing area, and sneaking up the Red River are the 70-degree readings. We do have even near 80-degree readings in the far south. Look at the cool air out to the west, though, some 50s on their way. Winds are gusting over 30 miles per hour in the James River Valley right now, and that gusty north flow is going to cool things off and bring a chance of rain, much needed moisture to the valley in the next few days. So big changes coming. Get out and enjoy the breezy but beautiful conditions this evening in the 60s and 50s. Coming up, we'll have a look at who has a chance of rain as we close out the work week and whether or not that'll have an impact on those drought conditions here in the valley. All of that in a few moments.
All right, thanks so much, Hutch. The Minneapolis chief of police took the stand today in day 6 of the Derek Chauvin murder trial. The chief fired Chauvin for putting his knee on George Floyd's neck during an arrest last May and testified that that type of restraint is not allowed by the department. Famie Redwood has the latest.
You swear or affirm?
The police chief who fired Derek Chauvin the day after he put his knee on George Floyd's neck took the stand Monday. Chief Madera Arredondo described Minneapolis police officer training and policies, including what it means to de-escalate a situation.
Actually, it can also include seeking community's help in a situation as well.
Prosecutors showed the jury the form Chauvin signed, saying he understood department policies and procedures and would follow them. Arredondo confirmed bystanders have a First Amendment right to record police encounters.
A patrol officer may find it irritating to have a civilian recording their activities. True?
Very true.
Is that obstruction?
It is not.
Jurors also heard from the emergency room doctor who treated Floyd and pronounced him dead.
Did you ever observe at any point in time that his heart was beating on its own?
Not to a degree sufficient to sustain life.
Dr. Bradford Langenfeld testified Floyd died from lack of oxygen or hypoxia.
I felt that at the time, based on the information I had, it was more likely than the other possibilities.
And doctor, is there another name for death by oxygen deficiency?
Asphyxia.
Chauvin's defense countered that oxygen deficiency could be the result of ingesting the opioid fentanyl, which was found in Floyd's body.
And that's one of the reasons ultimately that fentanyl is so dangerous, because it suppresses the respiratory system. Agreed?
The primary reason it is so dangerous.
Last week, paramedics who arrived at the scene of Floyd's arrest testified they could not find a pulse. Femi Redwood, CBS News, New York.
Before testimony resumed today, the judge addressed a report of juror misconduct off camera surrounding a social media post. The judge determined no misconduct had occurred. If you're looking to get your COVID-19 vaccine in Fargo this week, Essentia Health is holding 3 vaccine clinics with no appointment necessary. Those clinics will take place this Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 1 to 7 p.m. at the former Gordman's building. That's at 5100 14th Avenue South. If you want to schedule an appointment for a later date, you can use MyChart or call the number on your screen. Essentia says they'll have a limited number of the single-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccine, but only at tomorrow's clinic. Thrifty White Pharmacy has hundreds of vaccine appointments available this week. There were about 300 openings tomorrow alone in Fargo. There are also a few dozen appointments available on Wednesday and Thursday in Lisbon. All appointments are for the Moderna vaccine. You can sign up at thriftywhite.com/COVID-19 vaccine. A new study suggests that when a pregnant woman gets the COVID vaccine may determine how well the antibodies are transferred to her baby. Researchers studied the blood from 27 pregnant women who received either the Moderna or Pfizer vaccine in their 3rd trimester. While the women all had a strong immune response after vaccination, all but 3 of the babies had positive antibodies at birth. The scientists say the mothers of those newborns received their first dose less than 3 weeks prior to delivery. Dr. Anthony Fauci discussed those findings at the White House COVID briefing today.
So in other words, things look very good for the association between vaccination and protecting pregnant women from adverse outcomes from themselves and their fetus.
The authors say future studies will include women who were vaccinated in their 1st or 2nd trimester. As millions across the country continue to be vaccinated, some people are buying fake vaccine cards online. The Department of Health and Human Services and the FBI are investigating this growing trend. There's currently no federal system to authenticate the CDC's vaccination cards, which makes it easy for scammers to make them. Experts say a digital verification or QR code may roll out eventually. They also say when you get your real vaccine card, don't post a selfie with it. Scammers are pulling people's personal information from cards posted to social media. Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar says the recent stimulus bill has helped Minnesota adequately fund vaccine distribution, but now communities need simpler procedures for people to get the vaccine. Klobuchar said her husband recently got his vaccine and they learned firsthand the stress of trying to sign up. She said she was among those in Washington who helped secure funding for vaccine distribution in the American Rescue Plan Act.
We've gotten the money to buy the vaccines, we've gotten the money to distribute the vaccines, and now we just have to get the people to get the shots in the arm.
Senator Klobuchar said some vaccine sites, like the one she toured today in Brooklyn Center, are trying to make it easier for citizens. If you're looking for a place to get your shot, use our VNL vaccine tracker. It's right on the homepage of our website, or you can open your phone camera and point it at the QR code on your screen, then tap the link that pops up. As states continue to lift restrictions on businesses and bars, a new CDC report shows how a single reopening event at a rural Illinois bar led to a community-wide outbreak of COVID-19. According to the CDC, 46 cases were linked to that event, which was held indoors in February. Of those, 29 were people who attended the event and 17 were secondary cases. The outbreak resulted in the hospitalization of 1 long-term care facility resident, as well as a school closure that affected 650 kids. People who attended the event reported that mask wearing was inconsistent and physical distancing was not maintained. It's prom season, and while events were canceled last year, students in Fargo and West Fargo will get to celebrate this time around. At Fargo's Grand March, each couple will be given 4 spectator tickets. Attendance will be limited to 50% capacity in the gym. West Fargo will have a Grand March, dance, and post-prom. Each senior will receive 2 tickets while juniors get 1. All of these events require masks. Moorhead High School will be hosting a prom, but they say dancing will not be allowed. We'll have much more on that tonight on Valley News Live at 9 and 10.
We have managed to catch a number of cases before they became outbreaks using this system.
Up next, how a $3,000 robot is detecting COVID before it becomes a problem.
From our Home of Economy location in Grand Forks, we captured a gorgeous sunrise this Monday morning. Beautiful weather today, but big time changes are in the offing. Rain in the forecast. I'll show you when and where coming up right after this.